From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Appreciate your patience coming to you a day late this week as we observed Memorial Day down here in the U.S. on Monday. Your 10-day takeaways, we've got scattered showers and storms in the forecast this week, lighter precipitation west. Over the next couple of days, a chance for some hit or miss shower and thunderstorm activity becomes a little bit heavier toward the east. Better chance for some heavier rain in parts of eastern Saskatchewan than far western Manitoba. Over the next week, temperature swings expected, pretty typical springtime temperature swings. A shot of cooler air this week, trending towards summer warmth as we head into next week. As we look at the last 7 days of precipitation, it has been heavier in the east. Again, we expected that heavier precipitation, over an inch of rain in Winnipeg, some cold rain mixing with snow at times in that area. Not real pleasant weather conditions. A bit drier in the midsection of the prairie. Then we talked about some heavier precipitation being possible in the far western portions of Alberta, getting up into the higher elevations, the foothills, Calgary, over toward areas south of Grand Prairie, toward Peace River. Some of those folks picking up an inch or more of precipitation over the last week or so as well. Now, as we get the week started here, we do have a storm system coming in from the west, and we have a storm system departing in the east. So a bit cooler in the west, a little cooler in the east, warmer in the west here with this juxtaposition. And it is this storm system right here that, as it spins through, making its way from west to east, will bring that chance for some showers and storms over the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 days across parts of the prairie. Your radar animation here early Tuesday morning, pretty quiet across the prairie. That storm system again exiting to the east into the south, and then the next weather maker still off to the west right now, just barely starting to push into the frame over there on the left. Some heavy precipitation in the Vancouver area, parts of the Pacific Northwest, coastal British Columbia. Temperatures here again warmer as we see some southerly flow in advance of the approaching storm system out to the west. That is typical then. That's going to allow that warm and humid air to return to the area. The area of low pressure kind of sinking off to the south and to the east, of course allowing some cooler air to filter into eastern portions of the prairie. So that's the reason for the kind of split look here across the prairie. Temperatures anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees across the Alberta-Saskatchewan border, but then you fall into the single digits as you make your way into parts of eastern Saskatchewan. Now, wide picture look at the precipitation over the next week. Heaviest across the central U.S., coastal portions of British Columbia, northern portions of the prairie provinces. That chance for maybe around an inch here along the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. By and large, we kind of have a quieter look, at least compared to the last month or so when we've seen really active weather. This is kind of more reflective of what we saw last week. Those chances for some scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Not looking at any real big corridors of heavy, widespread soaking precipitation, but certainly not a dry, quiet week across the prairie either. So here's the split look here, Tuesday. Again, area of low pressure, upper level low to the west across British Columbia, the Pacific Ocean, ridging in the middle here, and then that trough, that area of low pressure that's exiting to the east. So this allows for quieter, warmer weather across the prairie. That's certainly what we're seeing today and tomorrow for a lot of you. But then as we animate this, we see that area of low pressure swing in right overhead. That's going to bring cooler temperatures. It'll bring a return to precipitation here in the form of those scattered showers and storms. Let's roll this through. Here's your Thursday, Friday. We're getting into the weekend now. We start to kind of smooth things out. We get into another pattern here early next week. This is around June 2nd, June 3rd, and 4th. This would be another opportunity for shower and thunderstorm activity across the prairie as we're kind of in the what we call the exit region of this stronger area of low pressure here, kind of just spinning away across the Gulf of Alaska. We get really fast jet stream flow coming around the base there. You see how tightly packed those lines are. That's really strong flow blasting into the prairie. So certainly the opportunity for an organized storm system, some heavier precipitation across the prairie, maybe even talking about some thunderstorms, and potentially the risk for some severe weather across the prairie as we get into early next week, the first few days of June. All right, let me take all of the drawings off of here. Let's go forward just a little bit more and show you we do have another pattern change that then comes mid to late next week, and that is that ridge of high pressure building back into the prairie. This would quiet us back down and allow some heat to start to build into the region. We certainly could see some of our first summertime heat across the Canadian prairies here during the first 10 days of June. So let's break down the precipitation forecast over the next few days. We'll look at the higher resolution NAM model, starting off with a warm, pretty sunny Tuesday across much of the prairie. That precipitation starts to move in across Alberta. Later on this evening, look for the chance for scattered thunderstorms to develop anywhere from, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, down toward Calgary, into southern Alberta. This is not going to be, again, widespread heavy rain, just the chance for some scattered thunderstorms across the region. This is your now Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. The frontal boundary starts to move off to the east slightly. Those scattered showers and storms on Wednesday afternoon developing across portions of central and southern Saskatchewan. This is now getting into late Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. This is when we start to see that opportunity for some heavier shower and thunderstorm activity along the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, that being late Wednesday into Thursday morning. As we get into Friday morning, now the area of low pressure starting to kind of mature and then decay over the prairie. It continues to kind of just spin overhead, giving us that kind of just cooler, cloudier conditions across the region here to finish up the week. This will then exit and begin to kind of reset as we head into the weekend. Look for some warmer temperatures to return. Heading into the weekend, you see your forecast precipitation with this storm system. This takes us through Saturday, June 1st. You see where we have scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Some folks may be getting mist. Other folks may be picking up a heavy downpour, getting into that 10 to 15 millimeter range. The heavier precipitation likely to fall closer to the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. That's where we're talking about anywhere from 15 to 30 millimeters of precipitation over the next couple of days. We'll look a little longer range here with the European model. We'll go quickly here through your Tuesday. Getting into your Wednesday, you track that first storm system from west to east across the region. This is now Thursday. Getting into Friday, the area of low pressure now kind of spinning down overhead, maybe a bit cooler, chance for some showers across the prairie. Not a real soaker though, just kind of cool, damp, showery conditions as we head through the weekend. We get into early next week, we start to see that next storm system push into the region. This is going to open up the opportunity for more in the way of organized shower and thunderstorm activity early next week, June 3rd, June 4th, that time frame. We see another push coming in here around the 4th and 5th, and then this will likely spin down, allowing then for that period of ridging and some summer-like warmth to enter the picture. So your next 10 days of precipitation, there's certainly a pattern, that being heaviest precipitation north of Highway 16 across Alberta and Saskatchewan, and then across the prairie and parts of eastern Saskatchewan, central and southern Manitoba. That's where we're talking about picking up anywhere from 30 to 50 millimeters or more of total precipitation. Not impossible. You could be, getting in on some of that heavier rain from Peace River, Grand Prairie over toward Edmonton, but by and large, across Alberta and western Saskatchewan, the prairie proper, talking about lighter hit or miss shower and thunderstorm activity. So anywhere from a trace, a couple of millimeters, to maybe 15 to 20 on the high side across those areas. So your next 10 days, there's certainly a theme. Heaviest here, lighter across portions of southern Alberta, southwestern Saskatchewan. You look at this in the form of the ensembles. This is your probability of picking up half an inch or more of total precipitation over the next week. This is your probability of picking up 1 inch or more of total precipitation, again, through June 3rd over your next 6 to 7 days. Best chance there going to be along the Alberta. I keep mixing up my provinces here. The 3-day weekend was too much for me, apparently, here. Right along the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, it's where you have that best chance of some heavier precipitation. Again, a lot of that coming Wednesday and Thursday of this week. And then we look on the right there, that chance of picking up an inch or more. Again, best chance going to be along the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. And then where you're more likely to have a drier next 7 days across portions of central and southern Alberta into southwestern portions of Saskatchewan. Now we'll look at those temperatures again, seasonally variable. That shot of cooler air early this week, warming up as we head into early to mid next week. Maybe a chance for some summer warmth as we get into the June 5th through the 10th time frame. Calgary, a high of 23 today, 16 tomorrow and Thursday. Back up to around 20 as we get into early next week. Edmonton, 23 today, 15 for the high on Thursday, up to the upper teens, to near 20. So we go through the weekend into early next week. Saskatoon, there you see it as well, 25, 23 down to 17, back into the low to mid 20s next week. Edmonton, Regina, very similar look here. Winnipeg, you'll be staying pretty steady in the mid to lower 20s for much of the next week, warming up into the middle 20s as we get into mid to late next week. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you again next Monday. We'll be talking about the first week of June.